A very good afternoon to all. I'm Sheikh Yamina from Kavyavarshi. Kavyavarshi is an ISO registered community to engage dialogue on crucial issues with concerned authorities and global change makers, alongside engage in government led projects, research works, fundraising events, student conclaves, and policy decisions, and is founded by some of the national representatives of NYPF, who are facilitated by the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, Government of India. Kavya Varshi is even titled as a Grand Master of Asian Book of Records and National Record registered in Indian Book of Records for hosting maximum eminent personalities in a virtual platform, and also been officially appreciated by the Government of India and appreciated by Lead of Stream Innovation Lab NASA. So, as always, today we are having with us an eminent personality, a personality who has chosen her career out of the box, not as a regular one, who is an inspiration for millions around. Career in interior designing. So today we have with us Miss Karishma Kakoti. What I should say about her, like totally less or more. She is amazing. She is the chairman and director of KA Design, even Forbes 45 and 145. Recipient of the Best Emerging Interior Design Professional of the Year at, uh, at the Global India Business Excellence Award, London, UK. What about her more? She's the top 100 designers of Decowood. We welcome you all, ma'am, an eminent welcome from Kavya Varshi of entire staff. We are really happy to see you here, and you are giving us your precious time to encourage us all. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Hi, Yamina. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm quite excited for the photo on session now. Yeah.
Ma'am, actually, we want to know about you and how you actually. I want. I would like to ask you certain questions to know more about your designs, more about interior designing. Ma'am,
Sure.
I would like to know how do you find actually KA design and the success story behind it. Ma'am, did
Uh,
you always desire to become an interior designer? As you know, in India, there's an unprofessional, like this is so much, this is not traditionally what people opt. And did your parents initially support you? As you know about the typical Indian parents, what are their approach is if you're going away from being a doctor or engineer? And what is its scope in Rising India?
all right. So there's a lot of questions for that. So I'll introduce myself. I am Karishma Kakoti. I am based in Guwahati, born and brought up in Assam. I started my career in interior designing back in 2010. So after my class 12, I was quite, curious, like what, profession I should choose because I always wanted to be a doctor. But, somehow I was always inclined towards creativity. I used to paint. Okay. I was a painter as well. And I know anything creative would attract my attention every time. So now I didn't want to be a fashion designer because even then at that point of time people used to talk like, no, you don't earn a lot about, if you become a fashion designer, and you should be an architect if you come down to construction, because I used to see myself designing furnitures or decorating my house as in, in my early days as a kid as well, let's say when I was in class 5 and 6. And how would you even judge a kid doing those stuff? So my mom was like, no, you can, do you have a career in which you can, design such stuff and everything? And then, at that point of time, we didn't have counselors as well who can teach you or help you to choose your career. So, I used to go to the cafe, search Google, and then see, okay, what are the design professions? And I saw one, Amity University was hiring, I mean, of course, taking admissions for interior designing. What is interior designer? So we thought it's an architecture, okay? Architecture, I have to study architecture. But two subjects are major different because architecture is the outside part, interior design is the inside part. So now it was a risk basically, but then I was like, Mom, I really want to go ahead with that. And my parents are like, I think today where am I, my parents are the only reason behind that, because they didn't ask me one question like, okay, are you seriously not going to be a doctor? My mom dad was like, okay, whatever makes you happy, end of the day you have to be happy in your profession. Don't choose something where you have to regret and then you're not happy doing it, right? So
Yes,
I know
yes.
that actually got my attention. I was so confident, like, okay, my parents are in my support, so why shouldn't I go ahead? That's where I applied for interior design, admission. So we had to
Yes,
submit a portfolio basically. So for and any which ways, I was into paintings, a lot of creative stuff. So my portfolio was quite strong enough to go ahead. So right after
yes.
class 12, I got the admission in Amity University in London, in Noida. And there in 2010, I shifted there, and it was a 3-year course. So after my degree in 2014, it was my thesis year. Basically, it's 3 plus 1 year course. So 1 year was thesis and practical. So I was working there with Bobby Mukherjee and Associates in Delhi. So it was as an intern, as a fresher. My plus point was because I passed out being a topper of the class, and I was a
Yeah,
gold medalist holder. So
yeah.
I got into a very good studio, I would say, like Touchwood. And then I used to work like donkey basically, because I
Yeah.
really wanted, I was quite clear of my vision, like, okay, perfect, this is what I was looking ahead to learn. I have learned interior design in my college. Now I have to frame myself, because I had just 1 year target to open my own company. So I
Mhm.
never thought that I'll be working under someone. It was always in my head. Okay. So that's
Yes,
where, I work almost 10, 12 hours in the company. My first project was Hotel Marriott. That was huge for me. So, something
yeah.
as an intern working on some other great project like hospitality work. I mean, that's a hotel, was like, oh my God, I could see my future being like, oh wow, I need to do this. I am
Yes.
into my right career. So it was wonderful journey. Amity University, my college was fantastic because they groomed me in a way not to be only
Mhm.
good with your work, but some as a whole personality, how you speak, how you think, how you talk, how you adapt to the environment, everything. Because as a designer, it's not just I design only on I one community, right? I need to interact with a lot of people. So that's where my journey began, and I was working there in Delhi, and then I shifted to Bangalore in 2016. So right there after I shifted, I started my own KA design. So the full meaning is Karishma Kakoti. The KA is a KA design. So a lot of people have questions, why is it not KK design? So that's where it's KA design.
Yes,
And then after after I have set up my company in Bangalore, it was quite a hardship, because as a girl, people, they don't think like,
exactly.
as a woman, how are you tackling this business? But then you have to be quite confident. So it all
That's
started like that. And then in 2017, I came back to Guwahati, because I was a person who was always attached to my roots. So anything I do was attached to my own place where I want to build, and also spread those knowledge and ideas which I have learned all this while. So in 2017, I shifted back, and then I started the branch office here in Guwahati. So
that.
this
This
is the
is
whole
amazing. This is amazing. Like the things we should learn from you, like sticking to your roots and helping people all around, and like being the one who you are actually. Kudos to your parents and you as well. Like how they stood against you, stood with you, that against the world. At like this is the
idea.
this is the thing you have to do. That don't stop this, and this is what you made. This is what we have today, an inspiration for all. That this is amazing. Plus, the best thing about you is your hard work that led you towards this, your dedication
Yeah,
towards the
yeah,
profession.
you have
Like,
to be dedicated. That's why
exactly.
one of the major factor.
Oh, what advice would you like to give young generations and their parents, especially because they stop them? You have to either become a doctor or an engineer. They have no other
Correct.
options. And plus,
Correct.
you cleared a confusion like architecture. As me as a layman, I'm a lawyer by profession. I was not
Oh,
knowing that
great.
interior designing and architecture are two different things. But you
Correct.
actually made that clear. So could you
All
actually
right.
give some inspiration to parents and and actually students, like how should they deal with their children's dreams and take you as an inspiration?
All right. So grateful for that. So I would say, like, parents, especially now, because see, a doctor or engineer or lawyer is also not only the profession. Of course, they are a good profession, but then our as we are growing more the economy, everything, in that case, we have a lot more variety of options. Today's generation in 21st century, I think anything related to creative sector is a booming industry. Okay, it might be interior design, it might be graphic designing, product designing, anything as such is a booming industry. I would say. And you can earn a lot, which people, of course, as a parents, everybody thinks like, okay, if you're working for that, as a profession, how much are you earning? Because our Indian mentality, we only think about money as a choice, because that money only have to be like, the salary has to be good. But why not? Because when I started, to be very honest, I would share my salary as only 12,000. So how would you calculate the 12,000 and I earn 12 lakhs in a month, let's say now? So those thing has a, do not, I would say, limit yourself only for the monetary part. I would suggest people or parents being very you should open up to the lot of ideas. I think nowadays students are much more advanced, smarter, and they know what exactly they want to learn, and they want to be in the right career. So give them the support. I feel that support is something a kid would really want it. And then once you have the back support of your parents, you automatically feel like, okay, anyways, if I even fall down, they'll be there. That's what I felt. If in case I do not know what interior design is, my parents won't tell me anything. Like, a lot of people have the fear of, I'll choose this and they will, later on they will shout at me or this and that. So not, I really think that's something as a parents or anybody who wants to guide their students or kids should have, as an open mind, and please accept new things. That's what I have to say. Yeah.
Wow, amazing advice. Accepting new things and supportive parents, all you need. So, is scope increasing in India? Like we are in 21st century, or it's still like a traditional thing going on? What do you think about that?
No, it's quite like, I would say, interior design and real estate architecture. These three things are all together, right? It's one of the most, I would say, exponential. It's growing market. Basically, it's like, we are targeting 2025 would be one of the boom for this whole real estate interior designers and everybody. So I would really insist a lot of students coming out learning interior design, be in your profession, be your own boss, because it's gonna take a twist. But right now it's because I'm based in Guwahati right now, I can see the time I shifted in 2016, and right now I'm working. There are number of projects. There are so many people open to interior design. You're gonna go bonkers. Or I go sometimes crazy. Oh my god, people, even to design one bedroom, people are gonna consult you. So it's a huge market. Exactly. And I think like this is one of a booming career for everyone.
So all the people who are listening interested in interior designing must opt right now, seeing you as their inspiration. Ma'am, I would like to, as a layman, and everyone would not be able to know what is the difference between, what's the distinction between interior decor and interior designing? Are they two distinct things or same?
No, those are totally different. As I said earlier, like what people used to think is an architect is an interior designer. Architect is somebody who have to study for 5 years, and then you're looking only for the civil structural part. You come under Council of Architecture. And interior designer have to study either like 3-year course. Nowadays you have Bachelor of Design as well as a 4-year course. Okay, and then you will be under IIID, Indian Institute of Interior Design. Let's say if you're under the Indian Council. So these two things are different. And again, among interior design is the interior decorator and an interior designer. Now, so interior decorator is very simple. An interior designer can be a decorator as well, but a decorator cannot be an interior designer. Why? Because you get only profession chosen to be an interior designer. Basically, when I'm a designer, I have to read the client's mind. I have to design the 3Ds, the layouts. I have to select every small things from the flooring, electrical drawing, plumbing layout, furnitures, toilet, kitchen, walls, what color, wallpaper, cushions, everything. But when you're a decorator, it is just about you have to decorate. For example, I did my whole job. I have a decorator in my team. So the decorator will be telling you, okay, ma'am, this is a big wall that I have. I suggest you should go with 8x4 picture, or you should go with some other element. Exactly. So that basically is a decorator. So do not get confused, but you have to study for being an interior designer. A lot of people have a interest towards decoration. That's the reason a lot of people you see would take up decorating as in their precise career tomorrow, where they work under a lot of architects and designers and help them to get an aesthetic feel once a project is done. That's quite clear, but a lot of people like, oh, Karishma, you're an interior decorator. And I'm like, no, I'm a designer.
Yeah.
That's a confusion. I understand.
Before talking to you, I was myself confused. Now you made it so clear, and it's so different, unique, and it's so much to explore there. Ma'am, one more question. Like, India is a rich history in architecture, interior designing since ancient times. And even today, we see that we see interior designs in India. But while West had pioneers of interior designing, less like we have Kennedy C. Wheeler, LCD Wolf, while India does lack major pioneers in this field. Do you think that this makes India's outreach limited in India as compared to the scale demand of interior designing professionals in Europe? And how tough for a person is in this profession to thrive and grow in India? India and West, two mentalities and two ideologies. First you have to strive at home, and then outside. So ma'am, what is the difference between that, so studying in India and studying in West? And do you see India as a lucrative market for it?
All right, so such a big question. So, firstly, I
Okay.
would say because see, I would say LCD Wolf. She was we say her as the father of interior design, basically. Okay, she is named as a father of interior design because she was the only one, the lady who got footstools designed in animal print at those time. And she I mean, she didn't have any education towards and at her back, but she was somebody who could showcase that, right? She was the one, I think, the America's first interior designer, and
Right.
she used to work. I mean, she worked for this this colony club. I feel I just forgot that.
Mhm.
So during that time, on those eras, you don't have this as a course. But then see, I would not compare India and different place in that order, because we are quite rich with our culture as an Indian, right? Even in India as well, during those time, when it was all about temples and Mughal architectures and everything, even at those time, Taj Mahal, let's say,
Mhm.
the detailed work to be taken care by any worker as such. I mean, we don't put those workers to be an interior designer or an architect, but they still were working, right? They were still
Mhm.
engraving those nice designs inside a temple or a cathedral or whatever, right? So now,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you won't find records like India has, such women or such person as an interior designer. But of course, LCD Wolf is somebody who is, of course, taken in our notebooks, and we have studied about her. She had been the one of a masterpiece. So does even Candice Wheeler as well, and everyone. But I would say India is. In terms of architecture or in designing, Indian architecture and designing is something very different. Okay, very, very different. If you see, that's where somewhere now European market or different outsiders have collaborated with Indian market to get those taste. That's why we get exports and imports, right, in different countries for our designs, for our products. That's where we stand. So right now, I would say, like, this market is booming. Indian market is booming. See, any which is earlier, your parents or my parents would have designed our house just the way they wanted, just the way they used to, match their blouse and sari. They would combine something and do it right.
That's
Until
right.
and unless there was a course given to them, they would have been doing much better. But now we are privileged because we have a course to teach us every millimeter to measure,
Exactly.
or exactly,
Exactly.
and all the color combinations to study. There are a lot of subjects that we have to learn. So in 4-year course, I almost have studied 60 plus subjects. So let's say
Wow.
per semester you used to have those things, and that's how you're groomed up. So I would not take in hand, like, that both are in a total different sector. But of course, I'm an Indian, so and I have, of course, studied Indian architecture and design. So I would say we are, of course, not to be compared, but we are doing great on the both of the sides. And keeping aside, your question was also on, I think,
Like it's
the last
the
question
creative
was,
market.
oh yes,
Like,
yeah, please tell me.
do you see India as a lucrative market for it? As you
Yes,
already
I do. Because
answered.
see, now again, I would say Indian market has, as I said, you like 2025 would be your exponential growth,
Exactly.
time. The real estates are something which is very booming because of urbanization, of
Mhm.
lifestyle, different social media, mentality and different psychology. People have started
Exactly.
taking their lifestyle into a different level. Even a mediocre person who is earning somewhere in a mid level is also hiring interior designers. Trust me, not about
Wow.
just those hotels or hospitals or 8-star projects or premium clients, and not only the one who is hiring designers, but even this lot of I would say the offices and a lot of stuffs are getting renovated nowadays because it has to match up the vibes. A lot of
Wow.
MNCs. There
Exactly.
are so many works, Yamina, which is coming out
Yeah.
every year. So I think this is India is really growing fast in this case.
Mhm.
So I do not see any of a loophole in that.
after listening to you, I feel that this is really an amazing and interesting field. Ma'am, what do you think about the fusion of Western and Indian cultures, like Western and Indian designing? Do you actually work like that, like fusions of different cultures, fusions of different interior designings? Like, what does it create a new experimentation? Like, such kind of experimentations happen there, like depending upon the choice of clients.
All right. So I believe you're asking me of the different cultures and themes. So as an interior designer in India, I have different clients from South. I have clients from Kashmir. I have clients from this and that. Yeah, you're telling
Ma'am,
me something?
I was telling that do you fuse actually Western culture and Indian culture together? Like there's a house in which you want both fusion of Indian
All
culture
right.
and Western cultures.
Correct,
Like
correct. Yeah, of course, there are fusions to be done. Any which you see, all of these fusions, what we are talking about, contemporary design, minimalism, or any boho theme, everything is like something which is all intermixed only, right? Because if you're
yeah.
applying a Santorini theme in an Indian house, the Santorini is not in India. Let's say the minimalism is something which you see in European styling because people believe in light shades, in darker shades. As an Indian, we believe in bright shades, right? Blue, red, yellow. So we need to infuse everything. So right now as a designer you have, I think, 50 plus more than themes to be designed. So it's all your choice, all up to the
Yeah.
client. The client will be like, you know what, Karishma, I traveled here and this is what I really want. So you need to understand the psychology of the client and then work accordingly.
I think this is amazing, like full of fusions and full of excitement. Ma'am, I have actually heard about the psychology of colors. Like most of the like this is actually a tool in your hands and you play with colors, different creativity at its peak, intelligence, creativity. And do we have a link with colors, like regarding the positivity and negativity? Like deep colors, how it results in development of a personality and psychological impact. What do actually the color psychology work? Like we have children classrooms with brighter colors, or do we have something like that, the work of psychology and colors?
Yes, color psychology is something very important for any interior designing team or as a designer, because what happens, the person staying in that house or any utility, it might be a hotel room, it might be a lobby, it might be a classroom. See, color would play a very major role, right? So once we start designing, before we start designing, we have a very lifestyle study that we do as a psychologist. Okay, we need to understand the client's mind basically. So you literally meet a client and then you can understand, okay, this is what she or he wants. With my experience, I understand what the client gonna tell me now, the second line. So at that point you have to hit them and like, okay, sir, do you want a contemporary design or you're this one, this design? The client will be like, no, Karishma, I want a contemporary design. Now with a contemporary design, you cannot play with bright shades, right?
Right,
So we have to,
exactly.
exactly, it has to go align. But let's say the client says, no, I want a contemporary design, but this is my kids' room. So how do you give a pale color to a kids' room? It cannot happen. So we have to intermix that. So what we do is a contemporary plus pop-in. There is your answer for the question that you asked me. So pop-in culture and contemporary gets mixed all together and we work. Okay.
uh,
Now coming down to the color psychology, once we know, for example, a kids' room, usually there is no that taboo that the pink is for girl or blue is for boys. We do not do that anymore. Okay. So now we try to study. The client would be open to you, and they will express like, this is the 5 year span of an. I want my kids' room to be designed. So keeping in mind 5 years, I would be designing the furnitures ergonomically with the sizes of the kid growing up as well as the color. For example, I would understand, right? The baby is like 5 years old to till 10 years, he would like a shade of yellow and gray, for example. So I would play with something like that. Yeah. So if it's just a study room, Yamina, I suggest like a lot of colors like yellow, gray, white. These are something, it's really active the brain basically. And that's how it is something we should go ahead, not red and pink and stuff. If you have a kid's bedroom specially, that's a peach color. You're trying, I usually try very light tones. I am not a person of a dark shade, so I don't go with the pink and green. I go with light peach or silver, peach, white, stuff like that. So just two tones or three tones at a time. Even if you have, let's say, I would say you have a grandparents at your house, you cannot give their room as a red color because they're old, right? So now you
I
have to keep in mind the fabric. I mean, the color not only comes to your wallpaper or paint, it has to be even the fabric, even the cushion that they're using in the bed, because every combination has to go. So you give something where they have a very good eye soothing. You might go with a very light pale green, go with like light gray, light beige. These are some early tones that you can play around, it's really good. So color psychology is very interesting, but you have to
Wow.
know how you manipulate the client because
I
I don't know, I need a red bedroom, and that goes like, oh my God, now what do we do?
I feel that it's more scientific in approach. If you
It
like
is. It
psychology
is.
depending upon. Ma'am, if you need to be an interior design, like you need more to be an academic a person, like a bookish person or academic person, or you should be a one with specific skills, like inborn skills. Then only you can become successful. Like, is it that these taboos still attached, or something else we need? Like in your case, you worked say really hard, and you were
See, I was.
talented.
Oh yeah. So sorry. Yeah.
And you were talented. Plus, you have skills and talent.
Thank you so much. So I would say, see, when I was in school, even I was not a topper. Neither I was a very mediocre like student. Okay, but then I used to hate physics and science for some reason. But then, as a designer, you need to have a perspective drawing. So you need physics sometimes. You need maths because it's a calculation. But if
Exactly.
you're a person who have a very good imagination, okay,
Mhm.
you have quite, your hands are like it moves when you see something and you can sketch. Very important point. If you, for example, it's more related to how you dress up. So can you relate yourself, like how do you feel? You don't just pick up a jeans and a top and wear. You see, right? Okay, if I'm wearing a blue top, I might also match a blue sandal, for example. So there where you can understand yourself, like, okay, I'm a person might be who can be into this zone. Also,
Mhm.
Yamina, I would like to clear one thing. A lot of people think like interior design is not only that. For a lot of students can join interior design even though they are not creative, or might not, they feel like, no, this is not something I can do, because interior design have a lot of options inside. For example,
Exactly.
you can be a product designer. If tomorrow, if you feel like, no, I'm quite good with sketching only, I don't have color perspective, but I can be a good SketchUp person, you can work on good companies who have furniture companies like European brands, who hires a lot
Mhm.
of product designers. You can be a lighting
Exactly.
designer, right? You can work in Dubai, having a lot of good, I would say lighting designers are somebody so much of like demand right now. If you're into
Mhm.
that, some people are like only good with communication. You can be only a site supervisor in a company who can only take care
Yeah.
of the site supervisions, communication, talking to clients. So you have so many from that option. So don't get rigid, like, no, I need to be creative, I need to be this for an interior designer. Of course you need to be, but you also have a lot of options. Okay, so don't make yourself like, no, backward. I would just, tell this only. So
So I think it has you have lot more of options there, but you just need to be passionate enough, I guess, like you to
exactly.
become like to choose a field of your choice, and anyone can do that if more passionate and dedicated in this field.
And
Ma'am, I would, yeah,
no, sorry.
ma'am, I
Of
would,
course, you have to travel a bit, and of course, you have to be quite updated, because this profession is all about, again, knowing a lot, which is, I would say ongoing, and you have to be very, I would say, very smart enough to. Because you are dealing with a lot of clients, and you have to know, like, she might not like floral, she might like animal print as a cushion. So you have to know, okay, this is a brand which is there. You have to be very, like, I would say, one step more ahead. That's what this
wow.
profession calls for, that.
I think more observation, more skills of
Observation.
analysis. Exactly. Ma'am,
Correct.
plus we would also like to know, like, what are the qualifications required to become an interior designer? Does as you told about the different degrees, mandatory? Is it mandatory? Like we have like what are the preferred institutions in India for the same and worldwide actually? And plus we have seen like worlds, as you also mentioned, they like world's most decorators and designers. There was no such course like that during the 20th century, no formal training like we have US sisters in parish, no such instances. Like does this profession actually restrict to like a few born with talent to design, or like is there a like necessity of a formal degree?
Right now, yes, because we are not in 1900, or all
Mhm.
those centuries. Because at that point of time, it was all new and people were accepting and just doing it. But now everything has come down to degree and your qualification. Then only you're gonna get your certificate, and as well you can have a bigger career. Tomorrow you might be doing for masters and PhD, right? In case you wanna do. So of course you have to. And in India, I feel if you wanna go for schools like I have noted few. NID, of course, National Institute of Design is something very a good institute. NID. is one you can go with. I have been in Amity University. It was one wonderful experience there as a designer. You can opt for good colleges which provides you degree. Go for that after class 12 preferably. Don't, I mean, go for a degree on a different, and then a lot of people does degree on a different scale and then they come back to interior design. And that's not an optional subject. You should directly go after class 12. That will save your time, and of course you're going to be a youngest designer then. So, and then if in case you want to go for your abroad studies, probably you should go with Savannah College, because I was just checking it that day and I saw that it also got into red dot designing ranking. So that's quite wow if you in case want to go for that. So yeah, and I think anybody who is interested to go with this profession should please make a very good strong portfolio. Very important, because if you open Behance or if you open house.com, you see, my god, wonderful designers in the whole world. There are so many competitions coming up, and then they are paid so much, so good. So this is a profession, as a designer is a profession. It's the smartest profession, I would say, and something wonderful coming up. I would really encourage people to come up and join, of course. So this is what is my suggestion. And yes, I mean, that's quite simple. You don't have to worry on that. Like, nothing is rocket science.
And I believe this is indeed amazing. Like, you have profession, you have scope and like career and everything, but you just need to be passionate enough and working hard towards it, like striving towards your dreams.
Yes,
Ma'am, is it
exactly.
difficult for you as a woman to deal with it? Like, is there something a gender stereotype attached? Like, in being an Indian and a woman, like, is it more difficult for you? What hurdles do you face? Did you face being a woman? And like,
Yes, I my journey was a bit challenging, as I already mentioned. As a woman, people used to ask me like, "Okay, ma'am, can you just work because it's outdoor? Can you just come to the site?" Because see, we are not, again. I'm working in Guwahati, but I have my sites all around in Northeast as well as in Delhi, Pune, Bombay. I need to travel a lot. People, they don't think like, as a woman, how do you manage your family? And then, okay, all right. Luckily, I'm not married. I'm with my family, so I'm taken care of. What about, people have a lot of questions. Are you married? And I'm like, wow, why do you even need to know if I'm married or not? But they have a mentality like, no, if she's married, she cannot come out. She cannot work late, because, our site handovers and everything doesn't have time. Sometimes we need to stay at site till 2 to 3 o'clock, because the next day the hotel is opening. Because the next day there is no, a big show coming
like,
up. Let's say we have to open up. Yeah, exactly. So those are the challenges. But right now, I personally have faced those only from the people, but then they have not seen me not delivering it, because my parents are my back support. They have never asked me question. I drive myself. I have my own setup. I have my good team, and then I take care of that. But right now, when people ask me that questions, I reply them straightly, because that we have been doing it, and we are of course good in our work. And now, with time, when they have seen women taking up interior design courses and making it so successful than men, they are more inclined. They feel like, no, it's quite feminism. Interior design is a lot of creative and color, so I think women's are the best. So that's what they say right now. So this will be, I think, taking time a lot. I mean, not much time, sorry, but it's something that I would say like women would be overtaking and making it fantastic, like very soon.
like, I believe that women are going into different fields and making it fantastic in itself. Like, you are the example of making it, and standing against the stereotypes and prejudices all together.
Right.
This is really amazing, an amazing journey like you have gone through. And your parents, kudos to them, they are amazing. And every parent should be like that, supporting enough to let their daughter to actually reach the heights and be an example and inspiration for others. Ma'am,
Sure.
as you already mentioned, there are many challenges regarding this field. We have employability, and with 26% of interior designers are working as self-employed designers or entrepreneurs. Like,
Correct.
how hard is to thrive at a startup as an owning in India, since you have visited various states in India? As you mentioned, you had to travel along, you have almost visited all the states in India. Like, plus, which state do you, according to you, think is the best to start up for a new person, for a new interior designer to get a startup in this field? Which is the best state for that?
All right. Yamina, there is nothing specific as a place to start up, basically, because see, when I start up in Bangalore, that was not my even hometown. I don't knew. I mean, I didn't knew people, right? But I did it. But yes, there were a few challenges compared to my own place, because here people know me in a common language. You can still mold up. I knew the market was good here because my ideas literally were new to those people. That's the reason it's booming, let's say. So I think there is nothing specific, but yes, let's keep in mind Bombay, Delhi, metropolitan cities have usually grown. So if you really need to start from scratch and you have something very specific as an idea, I would say start from your own hometown. Or yes, if you are like quite rigid, like no, I want to start from somewhere else, Pune is a very good market, Jaipur is a good market, Kanpur is something really good. I have been seeing designs and designers, looking ahead. These are some good places. Okay, I mean, this is what we can think of. And I think your question is also on the challenges, right? So what
Yeah,
challenges do you
exactly. What
have?
challenges do you face regarding employability and startups? How difficult is for you to actually start this? A new fresh year to start up his own or her own business, like in interior designing, own
Yeah, I
startup.
think it's not basically so challenging, but I think because now government have come out with a lot of startup options as well, right? So
Mhm.
any specific interior designer who wants to start up, from the smaller scale, should make a project report. If you have something very new as an idea or a concept, you can surely pitch the government, and then also get into a lot of, such as startup sanctions and schemes, which will really help you out. Other way around, see, when I started, I did not have such this thing as well, because at that point of time I didn't have much idea, and I was just working and taking in hand. But right now, when I skip to my K School of Design from K Design, because I have started my own online class right now for students to learn, there I have got help from government, because now I really want to spread the idea. That's what people, I think these schemes will really help you down. And in terms of any other challenges, if you feel as an interior designers, will be always there, because see, this market is new as well to India. Of course, it's not so old like Europe
Mhm.
or stuff. But I would say
Exactly.
people mentality have to grow. Still today, when a client is spending 1 year, for example, in a space, he will ask you 1,000 questions. So you need to have that resisting power.
Exactly.
You need to have a very good communication and make the person feel, client feel it's a part of our family, and he can express himself, because this is an industry where you would really feel bored at a time, because you have to redesign the same stuff again and again. This is a service industry. Okay, so you need to be very patient, you need to have a very good patience. This is
Thank
patience
you.
is like something, one of a point I would say have to be there. Creative is something very smart to speak right at that moment, to manipulate into a good factor, not manipulate it badly. These are some of the challenges. It's like quite hard. You have to sell your ideas in a correct way in India. That's like something I have faced.
I feel this is the work that needs lots and lots of patience and creativity, as you spoke.
Right.
Ma'am,
Yes,
plus
yes.
you also mentioned about your online classes. Like, how actually, like people who are interested would be able to join that. Like, could you actually give some brief about that, your online classes, and
All
you're
right.
doing an amazing job by that.
Thank you. K School of Design is a sister initiative of K Design, because when I came back here, I was like, no, people need to learn, because they're still lacking those knowledges.
Mhm.
So my motive and behind this online class is for those people who have already, like, I have students who are even doctors. Can you imagine? Because they just want to learn what is it. I have students who are working like a painter, or might be who is just a vendor in working in a ply company. They have got a knowledge behind that. So there is nothing restricting. This is a 2-week course that we are taking for 15 days, and it includes 10 subjects what I have learned, and I'm teaching myself, because I really need to see what people are getting. And we have one software class from a Delhi faculty, because the software is very important for everyone to learn, because you cannot sketch with a hand. You need a software to learn as a designer. That's one of the basic tool. So if I think I can share the link, because it's already there as in K School of Design. If you type in Facebook or Instagram, you have a contact number, or if you can just drop a message, somebody from the team will contact you back. So this is a fourth batch excuse me, that we are going on. It's a wonderful experience to see, and a lot of, and now I'm getting motivated to start it offline right now in Guwahati, like a school, because all the online students have started working. Imagine, and I'm like, wow, I studied for 4 years, and then I'm learning now. You just studied for 15 days and you have taken up projects. How?
Wow.
That's people are grooming themselves. They're so much into that passionately.
To be honest, like after speaking to you and after hearing all this, I too want to join this course and be something like to be more creative and motivating. Like this is amazing. Ma'am, I also read on your page about the sustainable designs that you make, that you have actually been working on to reduce negative impacts of environment. As we know, in
Yeah,
today's world, we have the greatest challenge that the world is facing is environmental issues. How you
exactly.
actually are like able to tackle that? Like using products that are healthy, minimize waste, non-renewable resources, and like that do result in like no harm to environment.
Exactly. Yeah. So my thesis was on green design. Okay, it isn't. That's an interesting question. I always wanted to know research more on this green design. So my thesis was on sustainable design, and somewhere I was so inclined towards this, and I wanted to work. So my first project here in Guwahati was on sustainable design, which got into Forbes basically. So
Yeah.
there, I try to work more on sustainability, but that there again there is a challenge. As I said, you have to sell your ideas to the client. They would be like, no, no, I think it looks cheap. What is the main reason behind it? Will it look proper? This is a lot of question people have, because what happens when sustainability comes in tone, you cannot really use luxury products. It doesn't make you feel richer. It looks very common. It looks very
Obviously.
subtle, right? It looks very subtle and very oddie and stuff. So those clients who are much more into oddie tones, who are much more into bohemian designs and stuff, there we try to pitch sustainability in a decor. But other way around, for example, if I design a house, I see which location the sun rays come, so that the electricity bill cuts off. We have solar panels, so that the whole day is with the light of illumination. You don't need to switch on your lights or bulbs till, let's say, 7 o'clock, for example. So the whole location has to be seen. For example, you have a bigger tank, like the soil water, right? The water which comes out through your basin basically, right? Those water gets recycled and goes to back to the green wall plants, the green wall design. That is
Yeah.
something you can do. A lot of people have issues with breathings and health issues as such. So nowadays you have plants which helps you to regain the oxygen and stuff like that. So those are something,
Exactly.
yeah, we work on. So low VOC products are, for example, any wood, any paint, are something that we use that falls under the sustainability. Okay, those are
Sustainability.
something you can exactly design. So these are some challenges we are still coming up and working on it, and hopefully there are 2 3 projects which has already taken care of and taken
Yeah.
over. So yeah, looking forward for more.
I think this is the need of the hour. Like needing sustainable designs, like considering the environment hazards. This is the thing
Yeah,
that we need. And plus, you working with it, your ideas are remarkable. Like sunlight, how client, even client, a rich client also wants that his electricity bill should come less. Like
exactly.
the way you use, it's like it's automatic. He doesn't even know that you are doing something like that. This is
Exactly.
amazing.
That's
This is
quite
really amazing.
surprising, yeah.
Yeah, so much like recycling the water and everything, how you are designing that. This needs lots of patience, creativity, motivation, and struggle. What you have gone through, it's all your ideas and your parents. How you actually thrive to become the best, how much hard work you have done, being a woman, and being from a being a woman that is actually being an inspiration for others and going out of the box. That's the best thing I've learned. You being courageous, you being patient, you being creative, you being efficient enough to actually change the world, like you giving the impetus to women, like no, yes, we can do the best and we can become the best in any field we choose. it
Exactly.
was really it was really, really amazing talking to you. This is the best conversation I had ever had, and this is
Thank you.
amazing. Like you being part of us, inspiring us every now and then, like inspiring me being a different field to actually join this course. You are
Sure.
amazing.
Maybe you
Like
come down for one of our online class and you can be somebody like you showing me, see, Karishma, I have already designed my own room, and I'll be really happy to see that.
wow, like I'll be more than happy to do that. Like and from the entire Kavya worship team, we thank you so. I know the person you are. You're extremely busy. Like the kind of work you do is amazing. Being busy, you led your contribution to the society, creating an impact in the world and inspiring the youth. This is really amazing. Thank you so much, ma'am. We would be like more than happy to see you again. Thank you so much from the
I'll be
entire team
sure.
of Kavya.
Thank you so
See,
much. It was a pleasure and wonderful speaking and sharing my journey. Looking forward for more. Surely.
thank you,
Thank you so
ma'am.
much.
Take care and stay safe. Take care.
You too. You too. Yeah. Bye.
Bye.